Platforming video games have come a long way since the early days of the popular Atari games in the 1970s. Back then, players got hooked on exciting yet highly simplistic 8-bit adventures offered by gaming pioneers such as Sega and Nintendo. Fast forward to modern times, gamers are now able to immerse themselves in interactive 3D worlds created by companies like Activision and Ubisoft. Plotlines, animation quality, and gameplay among different platforming video games today has advanced drastically. However, it can be argued that creative game developers alongside top-selling titles are really what steered the evolutionary process of modern platforming video games. In this essay, we will discuss how exactly game developers influence the evolution of platforming video games through their creativity and innovation, along with examples of successful titles that shape the competitive industry we have today. Platforming video games have evolved tremendously since the days of the simplistic Atari games in the 1970s. As technology has progressed, so too has the quality of the graphics and gameplay of platforming video games. One of the earliest and most popular platforming games of all time is the arcade game Donkey Kong, which was released in 1981. This game, created by Shigeru Miyamoto, was the first game to feature Mario and was incredibly successful, selling over 132,000 arcade units. This success opened the door for the creation of the Super Mario Bros. Franchise, which was released in 1985. This game, also created by Miyamoto, revolutionized the industry and sold over 40 million copies. It also spawned a plethora of sequels and spin-offs and is still one of the most popular video game franchises today. Other early platforming games were released in the late 1970s and early 1980s, and were typically 2D side-scrolling games. These games were often quite simple, with the player controlling a character who could only move left and right, and jump. The goal of the game was usually to reach the end of the level, while avoiding enemies and obstacles. Examples of these early platforming games include Donkey Kong, Pitfall, and Super Mario Bros. Since the days of Super Mario Bros., the platforming genre has seen a massive surge in popularity and the quality of the games has increased exponentially. With the introduction of 3D graphics, platforming games have become more immersive and complex than ever before. An example of this is the critically acclaimed Super Mario 64, which was released in 1996. This game, also created by Miyamoto, was the first 3D platformer and sold over 11 million copies, making it one of the highest-grossing games of all time. The success of this game led to the creation of many other 3D platformers such as Banjo-Kazooie and Jak and Daxter, both of which were incredibly successful and popular. Highlight equals transparent. The 2000s saw the emergence of open-world platformer games. These games featured large, open-world environments, and the player was able to explore the world freely. Examples of these open-world platformer games include Super Mario Sunshine, Ratchet and Clank, and Jak and Daxter. In recent years, platforming games have become even more advanced. Many games now feature realistic physics, allowing the player to interact with the environment in more realistic ways. Additionally, many games now feature online multiplayer, allowing players to compete against each other in platforming challenges. Examples of these modern platforming games include Super Mario Odyssey, Celeste, and Cuphead. The platforming genre has come a long way since the days of the Atari and has seen an incredible evolution over the years. From the simple 2D graphics of the original Super Mario to the complex 3D graphics of modern games, platforming games have been consistently pushing the boundaries of quality and innovation. As long as developers continue to create innovative and immersive experiences, the platforming genre will continue to be one of the most beloved and successful video game genres. In conclusion, since its humble beginnings in the early days of Atari, platforming video games have experienced a meteoric rise to become one of the most beloved and successful genres. This can primarily be attributed to creators such as Shigeru Miyamoto, who pushed boundaries and developed innovative experiences that helped shape the landscape of gaming as we know it today. From Donkey Kong's first appearance in 1981 to modern-day titles like Super Mario Odyssey and Yooka-Laylee, platformers continue to provide players with exciting adventures and experiences. Platforming video games will surely continue to evolve with technology in order to keep up with gamers' changing preferences for ever more immersive gameplay. As long as versatility is favored over conformity, the genre should remain popular for years to come.